We'd actually be standing above the old vaulted roof, which is to the right of the stage area.
So we're actually in mid-air.
Yeah, in theory.
There's quite a lot happening today on the site. What sort of things? I can hear a drilling noise down there. What are they actually doing at the moment?
Well, they're concentrating on finishing the roof on the old back quay building, which is Cornish Delabole slates, and they're also doing the restaurant floor. Again, it's a mezzanine floor within the old back quay building.
How many people are working on the site at the moment?
58 today.
It's very difficult to sort of summarise the alterations that have been made. I want to give people who remember seeing the stage at the Lemon Quay end of the hall. Whereabouts is the stage area now, and how much does it differ from the old arrangement?
Well, it's obviously a much bigger stage, and it's to the east of the building, which is against Woolworths Wall. So the orientation has been changed by 90 degrees, so you could get a very wide stage.
Okay, what sort of effect does that have on the capacity of the building?
I think the seating capacity is just over 1,000, and then obviously it's a very versatile building. That's always been borne in mind. So as you can fold away the seats, and then it will be an open hall more or less as you see it now. You
have raised the roof. What other sort of major structural changes have you made to the shell of the old City Hall building?
Well, apart from the facade and of the front and back, it's been completely gutted. All that you've got is 4 walls. We actually reduced down to get the basement, so we dug down about 3.4 metres. Matter of fact, if you look over on the Woolworths wall now, you'll see where the old skirting line was, which is about 1.3, 1.4 metres above the present stage. So we've gone down that depth plus the basement. And all the rest it's all new structural steel building within the old walls.
Have you found anything when you've been burrowing down through the layers?
The archaeologist was very involved to start off with, because she wanted to ensure that records were kept of what obviously was a very old site. There was a culvert and quite a few foundations and all sorts of things, from the fact that apparently this was used as a rifle range during the Boer War, because we found cartridge cases in the footings, so it's obviously had a lot of different uses.
From when does the facade itself actually date, do you know?
Well, the most of it is 1874 is the main part of it, but then the history of it, when she looks back, there's been buildings here since the 16th century, and obviously they just tagged on to the foundations and the walls as they developed.
We mentioned earlier on that we were actually standing on what would have been a little bit above the old roof. What is this area actually going to be?
Well, this is the fixed seating area, and we're actually standing in what will be the box. And you get a very good view of the stage, obviously. And within this area, it will be permanent seating. And then everything else will be folded away so they can allow for different functions.
We're actually out on the roof now. Can you just describe the scene around us at the moment?
Well, you can see at the moment they're fixing Cornish Delabole slate on the old back quay building, which is the old-fashioned sort of random coursing, so it doesn't follow a straight line. The different widths of slate, which looks, well, it is the proper job for this sort of building. And then the main roof is covered in a sheeting that will weather to appear like lead. And then also further on up you can see the fly tower, which goes above the main roof, and that has got the feature bandstones around there, which aren't really visible to Truro at the moment until the debris netting comes down.
It's very much in the style of the original building, isn't it?
Well, that's obviously what they're trying to replicate, and the conservation officer has been very keen to make sure that it blends in. Hence the tremendous amount of lead work going on up here, besides the slates, and even the roof is with the rolls are meant to give the appearance of lead.
Okay, I've got to say the view up here is tremendous. We're looking towards Phoenix Wharf, and behind us you've got a view of the whole of Truro.
Well, I can't imagine people will be coming up here very much, because as you knew, the access is pretty difficult, and this is our main problem, is getting materials up here now. But the idea is that from any place within Truro, any facade that's visible will be traditional in appearance. And matter of fact, most of it will be actually traditionally built.
Okay, gentlemen, we're standing in a room here that's got a fireplace just on our left here. This looks relatively untouched. Is it, Martin?
Well, yes, that was part of the conditions of the planning, that we weren't able to alter the main fabric of the back quay building. Whatever was considered preservable, it was preserved. And as you can see, we've worked all the way around this timber panelling and the fireplace.
Okay, is that something of a problem when you're sort of updating a building very much like this and then having to sort of incorporate all the other elements as well?
Well, yes, because nothing is square here. Obviously, the way the building evolved, they just built to whatever land was available to them at the time. And also, as you notice, the floor is up and down like a yo-yo, and it's very difficult to actually put support steels in for the new building and maintain work to the existing walls, which are out of level. But then that's going to be part of the character and charm of the building, hopefully, when it's finished.
Well, I bring you in, Keith. You're Chief Executive of the Hull for Cornwall project, I believe. We can see down on the floor below some construction going on. What's being built down there at the moment?
That's going to be the main restaurant, which is at mezzanine level. That's going to have a special balcony which goes out. So as you walk in the back quay foyer, you'll see the restaurant at the level above you, which has a specially designed balustrade along the front of it, which has been made out of wrought iron. And there'll be wall hangings in that area as well. That's going to be quite an impressive area, and the hub of our activity, really. That's where the box office will be as well, and there'll be a coffee shop as well. But that is the restaurant on the next level down, and it overlooks the whole of the foyer area.
With the wall hangings, what sort of things? Sort of local artists, that kind of thing?
It's a specially designed textile hanging by a local artist, and there's going to be two of those between the main entrance doors. So there'll be big, tall hangings, very colourful, and it'll fit in very nicely with the whole look of that area.
And on the level we're on now, just above that, I see a lot of this woodwork being restored to its former glories. What are a lot of the rooms up on this level going to be?
Well, these rooms will be used for a very wide range of events. These are the main function and activity rooms. We're standing in the what we call the boardroom at the moment. It's quite a small room, but with lovely wood panelling, as you mentioned.
Okay, we've now come down onto the ground level of the building, and we're standing in what I believe is going to be the bar.
Yes, it's a very long bar, because I think Truro is known for its real ale festivals, so that's something that's being catered for.
Okay, so the bar faces onto the stage, faces towards the stage, so we actually now walk towards the stage after our brief drink at the bar. Keith, we're standing directly in front of the stage in what I would imagine is going to be the stalls area of seating. There's scaffold everywhere at the moment. What sort of entertainment can we expect to see at the Hall of Cornwall when it does open?
A very wide range indeed. What we're trying to do is to put on something for everyone as far as that's possible. We'll be announcing the programme quite soon, and it will include jazz, opera, comedy, cabaret, light entertainment, classical music, everything. You think of it, we'll be trying to do it.
I understand you've already announced this year's pantomime.
That's right. We're doing Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which will run from the 20th of December till the 4th of January. And we're very excited about that. It's a marvellous production. We're using a very well-known company called Albemarle Montrose. They've had great success. So this is a pantomime which is played in the West End of London. It's got fantastic sets and scenery. They're very well known because of that, because they have these very lavish sets and costumes. And it will be starring a gentleman called Mark Spate, who is very well known to all the children because he is in the Saturday morning children's programme Scratchy & Co. He plays the part of Scratchy, and he's also known for Smart, which is another programme for children.
Okay, now I know theatres get picked up every year for organising their pantomimes early, but you're in the odd situation, I suppose, starting to sell tickets when the building's still being built. How's that feel?
Slightly peculiar, because you're actually selling seats which aren't there at the moment, so it is strange, but we're utterly confident that the seats are going to be there. We're bang on schedule, and we know it's all going ahead as planned. So it's slightly peculiar because the seats aren't there at the moment, but it's not a concern to us.
Okay, if I just ask Martin, we can hear a lot of construction work going on in the background actually over on the stage. What sort of things are happening over there at the moment?
Well, they're cutting conduits and trunking for the mechanical and electrical installations.
Okay, now I can see below the stage there's another sort of basement floor. Does that mean there's going to be things like trapdoors in the stage for the pantomime?
There won't be trapdoors as such, no. A large part of the central area is removable, but it's not for trapdoors as such. No, we will use understage for some storage. We'll have a lot of equipment. Because of the multi-purpose nature of the venue, we'll have a lot of equipment that we need to store at certain times. For example, when the pantomime's on, we will be in full theatre mode, which will have 1,000 seats. But at other times we'll be wanting to put on rock concerts or flea markets, things like that, and we'll have to completely remove all the seating, and that has to go somewhere in the meantime. So one of the places that can go is under stage or at the side of the stage, and there's various little cubby holes around the building. We will probably keep our piano under the stage most of the time.
We're now looking into what looks like the orchestra pit, or is in certainly in most theatres. Is this a constant space for orchestras and performing people and the like?
No, because what will happen is that when it's in the theatre mode, the orchestra pit will be as we see it now, obviously with the removable or the raised floor there. But when they want to make it into a function hall, they'll be able to close all this area over, and you'll have this very large floor area available for whatever they want it for.
We've just walked out of the main auditorium. We're now heading out towards Boscawen Street. But as we've already mentioned, the level of the hall has been dropped down a significant amount. And we've been walking around a lot of fire escapes, which are sort of behind the balcony and whatever, which are all sort of new and concrete. But here we have some fantastic granite steps in the main hall, in the main foyer here. How do you go about getting granite these days for this kind of a venture?
Well, what happened with these granite stairs is that when we were demolishing the section in the back quay, these granite steps were found, or staircase was found within underneath a new timber staircase, and the conservation officer and the architect and the trustees were very keen to use them within the building, and therefore they were cut out from within the wall, and we now see them here, because unfortunately they couldn't use them in their present position because they wouldn't have been acceptable for fire escape reasons.
Were you expecting to find that? Is that something that was actually up on the original deeds?
No, it was a complete surprise to everyone when we took down these partitions and this staircase to find this amazing granite stairs underneath with the granite slab landings as well. Obviously quite a feat for the people to build those days.
I think there's been a lot of hidden treasures uncovered in the building of the Hall for Cornwall. When does it actually open?
It opens the 15th of November.
Okay. What sort of things are planned for the grand opening?
It's a production of Carmina Burana featuring Bournemouth Sinfonietta, which will be augmented by local players. We'll have Cornish choirs and a specially commissioned fanfare which will be played by a Cornish brass band. It'll be conducted by Sir David Wilcox, so it'll be quite a special evening.
Okay, and on to the pantomime. Will there be a significant amount of local involvement in that as well?
24th of May we'll be auditioning locally for the part of Snow White, so there's a chance for a local person to be involved in a principal role in the pantomime there. But we'll be notifying people of that opportunity in the next week or so.